Have you ever found yourself loving someone you shouldn't? In the heart of bustling New York City, amidst the chaos of daily life, such a love story unfolded, both beautiful and tragic. Emily, a young and ambitious woman, was captivated by the enigmatic charm of Alexander, a married man who commanded attention with his sophistication. From their first encounter in a crowded coffee shop, Emily felt an irresistible pull towards him, a connection that seemed to defy the very logic she valued so deeply. She recalled the moment their eyes met. He was the same peculiar blend of coffee she favored, an obscure mix of Ethiopian and Colombian beans. Their conversation began over the simple coincidence of their shared taste in coffee, evolving swiftly into discussions about literature, music, and their dreams. Alexander, with his insightful comments and intriguing anecdotes, seemed like a novel waiting to be read, each chapter promising new secrets and revelations. He spoke of his travels, his experiences, and his aspirations with such passion that Emily found herself hanging on to every word, eager for more. Days turned into weeks as they continued to meet, intentionally and unintentionally, in the same coffee shop. Each meeting was filled with laughter, shared stories, and a palpable tension they both chose to ignore. Emily knew that Alexander was married, yet the magnetic pull he had on her was undeniable. She observed the way his eyes crinkled when he laughed, the thoughtful furrow on his brow when pondering a philosophical question, and how he always seemed to genuinely listen when she spoke. However, as the weeks turned into months, Emily found herself drawn deeper into Alexander's orbit. Despite knowing that he was married, she relished the moments spent in his presence, feeling alive, understood, and cherished. They began to meet outside the confines of the coffee shop, exploring art galleries, attending concerts, and walking through Central Park during the rare moments when the city seemed to pause. With each outing, the connection between them deepened, and Emily's rational mind battled with her emotions, teetering on the edge of a precipice she knew could crumble beneath her. The stolen moments they shared were filled with a bittersweet joy. Each glance, each touch, each whispered word in the quiet corners of the city added layers to their secret relationship. Yet, with each stolen moment, a sense of guilt gnawed at her conscience, reminding her of the dangerous waters she tread. Alexander, however, remained a pillar of loyalty to his wife, Elizabeth. Their marriage was a fortress of love, weathered by storms but never wavering. Elizabeth and Alexander had faced many challenges over their years together: financial crises, long separations due to work commitments, and the usual wear and tear that time inflicts on any lifelong partnership. Yet, through each trial, their bond had only grown stronger, fortified by mutual respect and deep affection. Meanwhile, Emily, a close family friend, had begun to develop feelings for Alexander. She was a frequent visitor at their home, often present at family dinners and holiday celebrations. As her feelings grew, so did her internal conflict, for she respected Elizabeth deeply and valued their friendship. Emily's heart ached with the weight of her secret affection, which she dared not reveal, fearing the potential disruption of the family's harmony. Despite the complexity of emotions swirling around him, Alexander's commitment to his wife stood firm, unshaken by temptation. Whenever he sensed Emily's mood shift or noticed a longing glance, he gently but firmly reinforced the boundaries of their relationship, ensuring his actions and words always reflected the sanctity of his marriage. Thus, their friendship endured, respectful and untainted by unspoken truths. Driven by desperation, Emily's tactics escalated. She began to subtly undermine Elizabeth, planting seeds of doubt in Alexander's mind, hoping to sway his heart. Her approach was meticulous and multifaceted, designed not only to incite uncertainty, but to position herself as an ever-present alternative in Alexander's life. Emily did her homework thoroughly. She learned Alexander's routines, his likes and dislikes, and even his less obvious haunts where he found solitude away from the public eye. She orchestrated accidental meetings where she appeared to share his interests coincidentally. With a well-timed smile or a thought-provoking question, she left impressions hard to forget. She took to sending anonymous gifts that were carefully chosen to cater to his tastes. Rare books on topics he was passionate about, vintage records of his favorite bands, and gourmet treats that appealed to his sophisticated palate. Each gift came with notes that hinted at a deep understanding of his character, designed to intrigue him and draw him closer to the mystery sender. Furthermore, Emily manipulated social situations to her advantage. She spread subtle rumors that gently tarnished Elizabeth's reputation, suggesting mismatches in their ambitions and painting Elizabeth as less compatible with Alexander. Emily portrayed herself as the more suitable, understanding, and empathetic choice. In public gatherings, she made sure to be the solace he sought when overwhelmed by social duties or Elizabeth's absence. Her presence became a comforting constant, her advice sought after, making her slowly but surely an integral part of his social circle. Despite all her efforts, the bond between Alexander and Elizabeth seemed to only grow more robust. Each attempt by Emily, no matter how cleverly veiled, only served to push Alexander closer to Elizabeth. He admired Elizabeth's resilience against vague adversities, not knowing Emily's role in them. Their shared challenges brought them closer, their trust in each other deepening with each passing day. Yet no matter how cunning her plans, the bond between Alexander and Elizabeth only grew stronger. As Emily's schemes unraveled, the weight of her actions bore down upon her. Each step she had meticulously planned and executed now seemed like fragments of a shattered mirror, reflecting back the fragmented person she had become. The nights spent scheming in the dim light of her study, the whispered conversations behind closed doors, the alliances formed on fleeting loyalties, all these had been her doing, her grand design to ascend above Elizabeth. Yet with every maneuver she executed, a piece of her own ethical compass eroded away, leaving her to navigate a sea of moral ambiguity. The friends she had manipulated became distant, the family she once cherished grew skeptical, and the love she sought seemed ever more unattainable. Her ambitious drive had blinded her, shielded her from the emotional devastation that brewed like a storm on the horizon. Now, as the pieces of her intricate puzzle began to fall apart, the gravity of her deceit was undeniable. Elizabeth, who had once been her closest confidant, now stood as the most aggrieved victim of her machinations. The realization of the pain she had inflicted on Elizabeth and the integrity she had sacrificed filled her with remorse. The cold, hard truth pierced through the fog of her ambition, sharp and awakening. Emily's eyes were open now, seeing the world and herself with a painful clarity. She understood the relationships she had strained and the opportunities she had spoiled. In a moment of clarity, she understood the true cost of her obsession. With a heavy heart, Emily chose to walk away, leaving Alexander and Elizabeth to mend what had been strained but never broken. As she stepped through the cold, biting wind, her mind replayed the countless moments they shared, each memory a delicate thread in the complex tapestry of their intertwined lives. She thought of the laughter that filled the air when Alexander would recount his absurd childhood escapades, and the way Elizabeth's eyes lit up with unspoken understanding during their late-night conversations. The park bench where they had carved their initials still stood, weathered and worn like their relationship. Emily paused, her hand tracing the outlines of the letters, feeling the rough edges. How easy it would be to stay, to pretend that the fissures between them could be healed with time and forgiveness. But deep down, she knew that some things, once altered, could never return to their previous state. The trust that once bound them together had frayed, each misunderstanding and harsh word pulling the strings tighter until they snapped. It was not just a break, but a transformation, a change that demanded acceptance rather than repair. She had loved them both, fiercely and with all her being, but now she understood that love sometimes meant letting go. For their sake and for hers, she would step back into the unknown. She learned that true love, tested though it may be, is resilient, enduring through trials and tribulations. And so, Emily watched from afar, finding solace in the knowledge that love, when true, triumphs over all obstacles. This tale of love, betrayal, and redemption reminds us that while the heart may wander, it is our choices that define our path to redemption. For in the end, it is not whom we love, but how we love that truly matters.